Hi everyone, it's James here from Production Expert, back with a double header plugin review for you. A couple of weeks ago, the team at Universal Audio put out version 9.5 of their software, and along with a new virtual guitar amp and a chorus pedal, we also got the Helios Type 69 preamp and EQ channel strip. For those of you who don't know, the Helios Type 69 was the sound of 70s and early 80s rock. It's that big, fat, almost dirty kind of sound that just sounds so right for rock music, especially loud drums and loud guitars. Following hotly on the heels of 9.5 was 9.51, which also brought us the rather lovely Neve Preamp. The Neve Preamp. Not just any old preamp, the Neve Preamp. Now, most people are thinking this is a recreation of the Neve 1073 preamp. But no, the 1073 actually is the module that has the EQ attached. So technically this is a 1290A, which is just the preamp. So in this review we will primarily be listening, which is a very important skill for us audio engineers. I've been working on a track and it's kind of my normal kit and caboodle of drums, bass, two guitars, piano and Hammond. And I will play it for you now. This is just the mix with no preamp emulation applied. So you'll just hear the EQ is coming from my console, any effects and things like that. I've got a little bit of distressor on the two guitars and a little bit of DBX 160 on the bass. But other than that, everything else is coming from the console. So this is the track. So there you go, that's the naked track with no preamp emulation on at all. Now, both the Neve Preamp and the Helios Type 69 are both unison enabled. So if you have a Universal Audio Apollo, be that an Apollo rack unit or an Apollo Twin, you can use these at the recording stage to track with, which is great, and you can commit that sound to tape. So in this review, what we're going to do is listen to how applying the Neve Preamp or the Helios 69 changes my mix, changes the tonality, improves it, changes it, who knows. Now I've gone through each channel and for each of the plugins been very careful to level match. So you'll see they're all set up slightly differently depending on the drum or instrument, just to get them absolutely bang on the money. Now, in every case, I've tried to drive as hard as I can to try and get some of the flavour of those preamps into the mix. I've tried to drive as hard as I possibly can without distorting the signal, because obviously the harder you drive these old preamps, they're going to crunch up. I didn't want that, but I have in some cases pushed maybe 45, nearly 50 dB of gain in some places. In the Neves, there we go, 55 there. And the Helios again, pushing 30, 40, and just balancing it out with the output fader. So driving as hard as I can on the way in to get the tonality of the preamp, and then balancing the output so there's no variation between the volume of the naked unprocessed track versus the two processed ones. So first of all, we're going to start with the Neve. So what I'll do is I'll start the track off naked and then we'll apply the Neve Preamp a couple of bars in. For me, the Neve Pre is making a massive difference. It's really opening up the tone, just sounding a bit thicker, a bit more lush, a bit cleaner almost, which is kind of weird because I would expect the Neve to thicken things up and make it sound more dense. Let's try the same thing with the Helios Type 69. This time I am hearing a lot more density, a lot more thickness to the sound. The snare drum's a lot broader, a bit more of a thwack to it. I'm really loving both of these. For me, I love the sound of the Neve. It's a sound I'm used to. It's a sound I really like. I've got some hardware Neve preamps in my arsenal of preamps. I really like it. The Helios has got a certain sound to it. It has to be said, of course, that I haven't used the EQ on the Helios. To compare a pre that has no EQ to a pre with EQ wouldn't be very fair. So I've gone for using the line input on both modules as opposed to the mic, because obviously effectively I'm reamping, as it were, running things back through the modules for effect. Now, for those of you UAD users out there, you can of course download and install both these modules for demo purposes. Give them a try for yourself. Hopefully you've found this useful and you've liked what you've heard, so you can listen to this in the comfort of your own home. I will put the audio files on the Pro Tools Expert story separately. But for now, my name's James Ivy, and I'll see you again very soon for some more gear talk.